G'day guys, you're back with Miracle Max. I've just completed a service on a Hyundai ix35 2015 and it's a GDI 2-litre engine in it. Not that that's got anything to do with the problem that we're looking at today. The customer has also asked me to check out, apart from the service, a problem that they're having with the left-hand front power window system. Let's check it out together. The red's on, the ignition switch is in the on position, and we come over here to the power window master switch, and you can see that the driver's side goes up and down, no problems, and the left hand front, can you hear that? It's not going down, but it will come up. So have a listen. Now it's going down, now it's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going... Very intermittent, isn't it? That's the down position. What's it like on the passenger switch? That little bloke there. Alright, I got nothing. I got up, I got down, nothing, up, but no down. Okay, so who knows? It could be within the master switch, or it could be over in the passenger's side switch. I'll have to look at the master switch first. To start our testing, we should find out what's not working, correct? Well, actually, you should find out what is working first. Huh? What do I mean? Well, as mentioned, we've got the reds on there, haven't we? What do we know about the other windows? Right hand front, that's an auto. That's gone up all the way. Does it come down? It's an auto. Yes, it's come down. Left hand rear, right hand rear. That's from the master switch. So, what does that tell us? That tells me several things. First of all, the fuse is okay, the relay must be okay, and they must be getting power to the main switch. Does that mean that all the switches are okay? No, it does not. Let's have a look at the individual door switches now. Right hand rear door switch, so that's working okay. Left hand rear door switch, that's okay. Left hand front door switch, no go down, but it does go up. That could be a switch problem. But remember, that seemed to be the same sort of situation as it was at the master switch. Interesting. Firstly, excuse the whippersnipper in the background. The neighbour's going for it. So what I'm going to do is remove this panel. I don't believe that there's any simple way to get this master switch out. I want to start with the master switch first. If we go over here, we can see that there's a plug here. There's one further down. Where did I see it? Oh, it's over here. And if you have a really close look, it looks like someone's been there before me, okay? So this trim may have been off before. Interesting. And because there's a tissue in the armrest, I'm not going to play with that one. I'm just going to pull it out with some pliers. But you can see that there's a clip in there that needs to be pulled out. That may be hiding a screw. And it looks like down the side of the trim that there's also some more hidey hole things, or some clips that are hiding some more screws. So I'll pop all that off and I'll get back to you. I've now got all the screws out of the trim. And if we go right down deep, underneath, you will see, I hope, there you go, see that little notch there? Now you can stick a screwdriver in there, just gently, and just hear those clips releasing, and then stick your hand up underneath, and just gently move around, and those trims, or the trim clips, should pop off like so, and go around, right around the other side, and the whole trim should come off then, no problemo. But before you can get the entire trim off, you really need to pull off this speaker grill here. Not that hard, just get your hands in behind it, give it a bit of a pull, then you should be able to undo this connector right here. Now hopefully the whole trim should be able to come off now. Should be able to wiggle that up, get that out there like that, no problems. We'll leave the wiring connected so that we can do some testing on the master switch itself. This is the back of the trim. I've got it facing us now that it's off. I've actually pulled it completely off. The reason being is I want to do testing on the master switch itself without having the trim in the road. It's only going to probably be like 4 screws to get the whole thing off anyway, and we can do testing on the master switch quite easily. There was actually 6 screws in total, and 1, 2, a couple are hidden behind this blanky looking thing, 3, 4, where are we? 5, 6 down the side there. Oh, here, sorry, there and there. Now the interesting thing now is there's a couple of little tabs here and here that you want to push down on. Use a flat blade screwdriver, something along those lines. Just gently lever them, and the whole thing should then pop out. There's a little tang over this side that hooks into place, so just carefully move it backwards and you should get the whole thing out. Now that the master switch is out, we can just hook it up to the wiring and do independent testing apart from the trim. I've had a really good look at the terminal block to make sure there's no green crusties in there, and it looks in really good condition. There's no corrosion in there whatsoever, so the green crusties are not present. For this next step, I'll be using a LED test light. You could probably use an incandescent, but I'm going to use this one just for now. Now some people would, generally speaking, connect the earth of the LED to something like this, or this fella over here. I don't like them because, well, I can't get around this one, but generally speaking they're painted. I much prefer to put on an extension wire, as you can see, and go onto something that is definitely a good earth. We need to test that earth, of course, but I much prefer to use something that is unpainted so that you can get a good earth. Look, I don't have a wiring diagram for this particular vehicle with power windows. I have some basic wiring diagram, but not the power windows. Now I should be able to nut this out quite easily. Most of these larger ones, I would say, these fellas here, are to do with the power windows. The power windows will draw a lot of current, there's no doubt about that. You can see there's quite a few of them. The other ones are with relation to the locking. So you can hear that I can lock the vehicle just by sticking my LED on there. This fella over here is my passenger side switch. That's the one that we're having trouble with over the other side. So if I push down, you can see that it's not working. If I push it up, you can hear it going up. In actual fact, it's gone up all the way. So this is up, and you can see that it's got power going to it, no problems. But if I go down with this one, see, I'm going down, but only on occasion do I get that to work. So I'm going to pull this master switch apart. I'm going down and I've got no power coming through. Before, the LED was really, really dull and all I could hear was clicking, but now there's nothing whatsoever. So I'm going to pull this master switch apart and have a look at the switch on the left-hand front window. So far, all I've done is pull off this back cover. 2 screws, 1, 2, and they both look like that. Okay. Down the side here, I noticed that there's some clips, 1, 2, 3, looks like on either side. So I'll try and remove this, and I reckon that the switches will stay there and the whole circuitry will come apart, I hope. And of course the neighbour decides to mow the lawn now. Nice. Oh well, it's got to be done sooner or later, I suppose, doesn't it? Alright, that's those two off. Just putting upward tension or upward pressure on this area here to try and pull it away. Hopefully it'll come apart without sort of disassembling all the switches at once, which won't be overly attractive. That one's a bit dodgy, I'll leave that for now. It's a bit hard to get these back ones off. That might be because of the pressure on the other side. There, that one released nicely. Nice. And yes, there we go. So that may, yeah, I think that'll pull all the switches through as well. So there we go. I've now removed the switch assembly from the housing. Right, so this is the one in question, the left-hand front. So I will try and maybe get this circuit board off the back, see if that comes off without creating any problems with the switches themselves. Oh, I see, looks like this toggle switch is holding it in place, so I might actually have to remove that toggle. Oh yeah, that just pulled apart. So there's 2 little legs there that should clip into place, hopefully. We put it all down carefully, it should be all good. There we go, folks. Alright, so where are we? This one here is the issue that we're having with. So that is that's soldered onto the board there, guys. So I'll have to unsolder that and have a look at that next. Interesting. Hopefully there's some contacts there that we can tidy up. So let's have a look at the switch itself. So I reckon this is probably a couple of toggle switches inside that go like that. And it looks like it should maybe possibly pull apart. There's a little clippy thing over there, and there's a couple of clippy things over here. So carefully, if I don't lose anything, I reckon I might be able to luckily get it apart. Here we go. And what I might do is take a photo of it right now so I know which way it's oriented. You can never take too many photos, that's what I always say. Job's done. Alright, so I'm just going to carefully remove that, and the toggles should be still hopefully in place. The toggle switch will press down like this, and it'll touch these two contact points between here and here, and we'll go up for one and we'll go down for the other. So you can see here these contact points here and here with the ones above them, and this one on this side looks pretty damn dodgy to me. I reckon that's our culprit. So I might just tidy up those points and see how they respond. There's nothing going to fall out, no, that's all good. And of course, whoops, where are you? You've run away on me. And this side over here and here I'll tidy up with some emery tape or something like that. Something fairly fine, maybe, you know, 1000 grit or something along those lines, and see if that fixes the issue. So hopefully you can see what I've done. I actually ended up using a bit of 400 grit sandpaper and tidied that up, and I've cleaned it off as well, but they look like they're in much better condition than they were before, both the top and the bottom. They're nice and shiny, so hopefully they've got some good contact points there. We'll reassemble it and give it a shot. Right, switch is now in place. I've soldered it back into place, cleaned it up with some isopropyl alcohol, so it's all gotten rid of all the flux, etc. So the main thing is, does it work? Let's reassemble it into its frame and give it a shot. If I use the master switch, you can hear that the left-hand front window is going up and down perfectly, which it wasn't doing before. Excellent news. So that's solved the issue, hasn't it? Well, not quite. But if we go to the individual one, it doesn't necessarily go down, damn it. So I'd say it's still got a switch issue on the left-hand side. We've fixed the master switch, that had a dicky switch on it, and now we've got to go over to this side. So there's obviously two contact points, both on the master switch as well as the passenger side, that's playing up. So before I could get the master switch to play up intermittently, and that's working perfectly now. I have to pull apart this one. So we need to do exactly what we did on the driver's side. Pull the trim off, pull the switch apart, clean up the contacts. Look, intermittent faults are the worst. They can give you such a headache. Simply by touching something, you can actually repair the fault. And in this particular case, I thought I'd actually repaired the fault, but hopefully I can get it to play up just to show you guys. Now, I've been going up and down with this particular switch for quite some time, no problemos. One thing I did want to check is this wiring loom back here. Now, this is notorious for breaking, simply due to the fact that the door opens and shuts all the time, and it eventually wears the wiring. But in this case, I still think it's the switch. Now, I'm in the down position at the moment. Oh, there it goes, it just kicked in. Did you hear that? Now it's going up and down, and it's all very fine. But I did wiggle the wiring when it was playing up, and it made no difference whatsoever. But I believe that it's still this switch assembly here. And of course, now it works. At least you saw that it did play up. So I do feel confident to pull this apart and check the contacts like I did on the right-hand side. So rinse and repeat just like the other side. I'll put a mark on here to make sure that I have the switch oriented correctly. And they're just the little clippy things on the side here. Just lean. It's gone back in, hasn't it, on the other side? Nice. Right, so you just got to lean against it and hopefully get this side out as well. If we can put some pressure in there, we should get it to come out. There we go. So now the hard part is to pull it apart and unsolder it. I don't know if this is on a circuit board, so we might be lucky, to be quite honest. It might just be switch contacts. It might be fairly simple. So without further ado, I shall in fact do it in front of you. Oh, that rhymes. Interesting to see what it says there. Hyundai Kia. So you could probably get a cheaper switch through IKEA. Yeah, you could get it cheaper through there, I'm sure. You could probably get the part cheaper through Kia rather than Hyundai. Obviously they're the same part. Success, I feel. Now, problem is, are we going to have springs and all sorts of things coming off at this point in time? Let's have a little Bo Peep and see what it shows us. Okay, alright, there is a little circuit board on there. That is interesting. Alrighty, so there'll be some contact points underneath here, so I'll have to disassemble this part, I assume. Yes, here we go. Over here you can see there's little things there. So once again, I'll put a little mark on there so that I make sure it goes back the correct way. Don't break it, Max. Oh, there we go. Other side, gently hold it. Clippage here and clippage here. Some springs, no doubt. Just gently lift it up. Ooh, that didn't look good. I know what it is anyway. Carefully pull them apart. So you can see, I should take some photos while I'm here so that I don't forget how it goes. I'm just going to get some tweezers so that I can pull that little component off. And you know, I've taken a photo now so I know which way it's oriented, and then we can have a look at these little switch contacts. So we'll just pull this little fella out of the road. Look at us. Alright, so the things that we need to focus on are these contact points here and here, top and bottom. Don't know how much you guys can see, or me for that matter, but I'll give them a little polish and we'll have a look and see if that repairs the fault. I can see over this side there's certainly a bit of oxidization on there, so it may be this area here. This might be a down switch. Up switch might be the opposite direction. So this might be our up switch on this side. So it sits up that way, and then the down switch goes this way. That's what I'm banking on. But, I'll get a closer look under the magnifying glass and see what I can see. And now, through the magic of video, YouTube video, you should be able to see some sort of contact problem there. I don't know, I'm only looking through my monitor, so it's a little bit difficult to see. But you can see particularly the one on the left hand side. Let me point it out to you. Get in focus there, Max. This fella here, you can see that there's pit marks on there. You mightn't be able to see it on the camera, but you can certainly see it in real life. What else are we looking at there? This fella up the top, you probably can't see it, but this bloke here is also pitted. So it's on the left hand side there, that's the main one. This other side doesn't look too bad, but I'll give that a tidy up as well. I've tidied up these contact points both here and on the inside. Just be aware that these little bar things are just sitting there, they're just held into place, and one took off on me, so just be aware of that, guys. You need to make sure perhaps if you hold them like that when you do your sanding or trying to tidy up those contact points, because they will take off on you. I've also had a close look at this little circuit board on the back. Now that is purely to do with the LED light that comes on through the switch. That's why it has a dropping resistor over there, so that the LED can cope with 12 volts going through it, or it drops the voltage going into the LED. But I've made sure that all these solder points, etc., are in good nick, and I'm happy with that. Remember those little white things that came out before, and I assumed, well, that's where I found them, to be sitting on top here. No, no, no. What they actually do, they're part of the switch assembly. So they actually locate in here on this side of the switch. So I'll be careful to make sure that I put it up, I locate this into this, not the other way around. That's why these fellas dropped out the first time. So they actually go in there, and then the switch pushes against them. They go into this switch assembly here. There's our switch, and you can see those white fellas there. They toggle backwards and forwards like that for the up and down position. So these fellas carefully get placed into here like that, and then we can assemble the switch. And because I marked it before, it's easy to assemble. Simply pop this over into that, making sure that we line up all our terminals. We don't lose those little white fellas over here. So turn them upside down, leave them upside down. Should be able to just click it into place. Those little white sections there go against those little white fellas in there. So it goes in that way, like that. Nice toggling action there, Max. Very nice. I've done it like a dozen times or more, and the only time it stopped is because my finger has slipped off the switch here, but there's definitely positive action there. I've had no occasions where it has stopped on its own. There's been no problems there. It's going up and down very, very nicely. And before I had the up position okay, but not the down position. That's working absolutely perfectly now. So I believe that we may have the thing sorted. But as you saw, I've been wiggling the wires in the back of the switch here, and as well as on the door jamb, that one that I showed you before, to see if there was a broken wire of any description. But I'm happy that there's no problems there. They all appear to be working just fine. I've also carried out what's called a terminal retention test. This is where you get a terminal of some description. I've grabbed this off an old wiring loom, and just to make sure that the male and female connection goes in there nice and tight, and it's got a good amount of drag on it, okay? You don't want anything loose because that would create a poor contact. I've checked every single one. I'm happy with the results that I'm getting out of it. So, yep, they're all good in my opinion. They feel nice. So yeah, get yourself a bit of wire with an old terminal attached to it. Terminal retention, just to make sure everything is connected properly and there's no poor contacts. So once again, happy with that. I've tried the master switch as well, and that's working fine. This side switch is working fine too. So yeah, I feel pretty confident that I've got it sorted. Just dirty contacts on that switch. Of course, no job is complete unless you clean up after yourself. It's no use having your big sticky fingerprints all over the window. The customer won't appreciate it. So all it takes is, yeah, a little bit of effort and make it nice and clean for the customer. Don't forget the inside. Of course, don't forget any trim that you may have dirtied as well. Give it a quick polish and then the customer will be really happy. So just those few extra minutes shows that you are a good technician that really cares about your customer's car. The job is now done and dusted. The intermittent power windows on an iX35 2015 model, she's out of here, guys. I hope you got some benefit from the video today, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and feel free to comment down below. And of course, don't forget about that notification bell. You don't want to miss any future videos. So guys, until next time, this is Miracle Max signing off. I will catch you later.